All right, so today on Eat Like a Local, we're going to head down to the island, Galveston Island, and we're going to talk Gulf Seafood. We're going to talk with Buddy from Katie's. We're going to go over to Boulevard, and then we're going to head over to Fish Company Taco. The reason why I wanted to go to these places, they are using Gulf Seafood. The fish that's coming out of our waters, the Gulf shrimp that are coming out of our waters, crab meat. All of these things we need to be supporting. If we don't support them, we won't have them forever. Not that the shrimp won't be there, the shrimpers will not be there. So this is kind of a deep dive into that. Let's take a look at it. All right, so we start talking about locality and freshness of seafood. You can see the water behind me, but if you look right over my shoulder at the Chelsea Inn, that is a snapper boat that's being unloaded as we speak, which will go into Katie's wholesale market and retail market, and then make its way next door to here, to the plate. And that's the grouper, that's the snapper, that's the bycatch, that's everything that they're bringing in off of this boat will end up either into wholesale and retail in Houston or the Texas market, or it ends up on a plate right here. I don't think you can talk about something fresher than that. It's pretty beautiful. Buddy, thank you so much for having us today.
Anytime, sir. Appreciate you coming.
What you've done for the Gulf Seafood programs is monumental.
Well, it's my family business. I love this stuff right here.
Years ago, I was working with Airline Seafood, and they brought us down as a tuna boat was unloading, and I got to buy a whole tuna from that boat.
I remember that.
It was just one of the coolest experiences ever. And seeing how it actually comes from out in the waters to here, to where I'm going to be, to the consumer, was one of the coolest things as a young chef to ever see. Tell me about what they're doing right now.
Well, right now what we're doing is we're unloading red snapper. There's other kinds of fish down there, but they'll put them off to the side till we get done with the snapper. And they're tagging them so that you can punch on your phone to a QR code and you can see who caught that fish, where they caught it in the Gulf of Mexico, and basically how it gets to your table on your plate.
What made you want to do that program and start this program?
The Gulf Wild program started during what we call the Derby fishery, way back 17, 18 years ago. It was a thought of commercial fishermen identifying their seafood so that we could get a better price.
It's sustaining the lifestyle.
It was a good
snapper system too.
Yes. We made a reasonable living, but we worked really hard, and anything happened, you were in the hole and you had to dig your way out. But we love it. You know, if you do this for a living, even now, you love doing it.
You'll have a snapper boat, but that's not, there's grouper boats, there's...
Yeah.
What comes through here a lot?
Pretty much every species in the Gulf. We'll get tuna, we'll get swordfish, we'll get all the reef fish. There's 18 species of grouper and about 6 species of snapper that we bring in. So then we have tile fish from the 1,200, 1,400 feet of water.
Super deep.
Fantastic fish. I mean, little known in Texas. When we started this business, we couldn't sell what it used. We've made it, we've turned it around.
Really?
Yeah.
That's just how much people, their knowledge has changed in their identification of where it comes from.
Yeah, and once they get that fresh fish in them off, it's a game changer. Education is the main thing.
Where will all this fish go? Is this not staying here?
No, this fish will go, about 80% of what we handle stays right here in Texas.
How many boats are you guys having in like a week?
In a week?
It's not every day.
So last week we unloaded 62,000 pounds of fish.
That's a lot of
grouper, tile fish, snapper, and that pretty much is the average. You know, between 40 and 60,000 pounds every week. When they come in, they'll be packed today, and they'll ship today and maybe tomorrow.
It's just such a beautiful.
They have about 28 to 30,000 pounds on here. A couple thousand of it will be the bycatch species, and it'll be.
I mean, you don't even know what that is yet.
No, I mean, he could tell us he has a few grouper, he has some vermilion snapper, and he probably has a cobia. We're limited to 1 cobia now per vessel.
Really? It makes you so happy just to see that they're going in at all sizes.
Me too. I come down every time I can when there's an unloading. And
I mean, you got some hogs down there, and you've got some, little 1-pounders, 1.5 pounders.
We don't throw nothing back unless it's regulatory. Part of the Gulf Wild program is no more saying I want 2-pounders or 5-pounders or 8-pounders. Both, whatever we catch, the way they come off the boat is the way they go in the box, and that's the way they go.
That's such a much more beautiful system too, Because it is what you catch is going out.
No throwing fish back, you kill them. Because if you're fishing in 150 feet of water and you catch a fish you don't want and throw it back, 90% of the time they're dead. It doesn't matter. You're not killing fish doing it this way.
Yeah, and I think this is changing the mentality of the consumer and chefs traditionally, because back in the days, I want a 6-7 pounder, 8 pounder, and now it's like, I'd rather have the 2s, 1.5s, the fillets are more portionable.
Now that I have a restaurant, I understand why they wanted that, because the yield is better on that 8 to 12 pound fish. But now we want to have the Gulf be sustainable. The only way it's sustainable is we don't waste it.
Yeah.
We have to catch it, keep it. And that's the same with the recreational sector too, because when our quota goes up, their quota goes up. So they're catching more fish too, so it's good for everybody.
It makes everybody happy.
Yeah.
You and a group of people have changed the way the world will be, really.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to claim to be one.
You just see it every day.
I just see it every day.
There you go. They do the best as they can is like monitoring what our waters look like as far as like populations. But
they use some really good scientific methods to judge stock abundance. With science-based management, we can keep this going for years and years to come.
Congratulations to that.
Thank you.
All right, so just a short walk from the market. Katie's Seafood House, right here, next door. So we're talking from the waters, onto the boat, onto the market, into the door, onto the table. When you want to talk about fresh fish, I don't know if you can get much better than that. So, Katie's Seafood House. So as we start to talk about Gulf seafood and what we're doing here, like, so just to start off with here, this is just easy saute of vegetables, but then you've got these little local shrimp that are beautiful. And then, you know, when we start talking about the smaller fish, you don't always need these 8 to 10 to 12 pound fish. I think the smaller fish are better. So this is probably just right under a pound, or like right at probably a pound and a half side snapper, because you can see like this is just the fillet on each side. So as an individual, you get the whole fish. If you're out fishing, yeah, you want to catch this big thing, but it's not always necessary. You need the small ones to exist too, because when you start talking about how many eggs the larger fish can put back into a water versus a small fish, this is what we really should be doing. If we want to talk about sustainability and growing our ecosystems, smaller fish are better for us to consume. I always say if you can see it and get it, order it. If you buy whole fish for the house, great, do it. And over here, this is kind of like their little, just a roasted fish setup. So grilled shrimp, crab meat, you get the tortillas, the beans, the rice, the corn, everything. So this is for a couple people to get down with. Then, you know, the access to being able to, like, whatever shrimp are coming in, that's what he's using. Just a ceviche, if you will. Lots of lime juice. Fish, whatever, probably all just snapper product. All of the little pieces that don't come off of the fillet go into here. So it's using everything. That's just perfect right there. And then shrimp, no matter what size, they go in. Now let's take a look at this real quick, because now we're just talking shrimp. We need to make a implementation to where we support fishermen, where we support shrimpers, because without that happening, as Buddy said, we may not have shrimp coming out of our waters in the future. It's just become too hard, it's become too expensive, and there's not a longevity. It's not a family business anymore. I can't imagine living in Houston and not having access to Gulf shrimp. If we can't kind of look to support these folks, we're gonna lose it. It's just how it works. So these little shrimp frogs, 2 shrimp. The shrimp kiss in Galveston is a thing. So generally it's just 1 big shrimp, jalapeno cheese inside, wrapped in bacon, fried. This has 2 because we're using smaller shrimp. I think they're sweeter anyway. And then the ceviche, just all of the fish pieces, you know, using every single part of that and then getting into, which is a good thing, right? That's beautiful pieces. And then you've got just the smaller shrimp that are coming off the boat. So there's usage of everything. The shrimp boil, beautiful. Boiled shrimp, mushrooms, corn, potatoes, sausage. They got broccoli in there. I gotta try a piece of broccoli. That's a new one. That's awesome. Unlike a potato that doesn't really get any flavor into it, the broccoli really just absorbs every single thing. And then right here, spicy shrimp. Just one of those, almost like a Spanish style dish, almost like a heel, where it's just the chilies, shrimp, garlic, butter. I mean, that's Gulf shrimp, locally sourced Gulf shrimp. I mean, get out of here. Even with all the garlic, the butter, the seasoning, the spice, The sweetness of that Gulf shrimp comes through unbelievably. This is worth saving to me. That Saturday shrimp boil, I'm not even gonna peel these things. Some have hard shells where you can peel, some don't. They don't, just eat the shell. You eat a potato chip, you can eat a shrimp shell. What a day. All right, what to order at Katie's Seafood House? Smoked shrimp boudin balls are awesome. The gambas al ajillo, so that classic Spanish style shrimp. Then the Katie's shrimp frogs. Then you gotta go in for the ice gulp shrimp cocktail. Get the sizzling grouper shrimp platter for dessert. A mint chocolate chip ice cream sundae. Yes! What a great conversation with Buddy. Now we're gonna head over to the seawall, hit up Boulevard Seafood. This place is awesome. Boulevard Seafood and Steaks right here off of the seawall. You got the Pleasure Pier right here. It's not about all that though. It's about the seafood. So we're gonna go get some grouper, we're gonna get some shrimp, snapper. Here's they got some flounder. We're gonna see what's up with this. But I hear there's some pretty good gumbo. I'm gonna get some gumbo. A little shrimp gumbo, a little crab meat, all coming out of these waters. Yes.
Jordan?
All right, I think it was hard for us not to come down to Galveston and not get gumbo somewhere. This one, just at Boulevard, you got Gulf shrimp, you got both crab meat and Dewey. That looks amazing.
Oh, then we're gonna have the blackened grouper with our scallop potatoes and our salted asparagus and a wild Texas shrimp, half coconut and half rocky.
It's like the Gulf on a plate. Thank you very much. This is what I'm talking about. That's delicious. Now, people always want to talk about hot sauce and gumbos and what have you. So there's two variations of this, right? Vinegar-based, also vinegar-based, but has more vegetable into it and a little bit thicker. But this is just straight vinegar and chilies. And I always like Tabasco as just an ingredient. You know, it's like adding acid to any dish to kind of help cut through some of the richness. Changes it completely, brings everything forward. That's great. You know, when we start talking about shrimp in the Gulf, right? They're not always that big. That's what this is for, right? This is for the campechanas, the tacos, the gumbos, the soups. You're just perfect. Gumbo is a big thing. You know, when you start talking about it, you want all of these kind of things into it, that kind of roux structure. There's a little bit of okra. And this is a really good gumbo. So this is really what I wanted because, you know, we're talking about sourcing locally from these waters through whatever purveyor, right? Knowing this comes from Katie's, and this is basically you sit and you can watch the boats get unloaded and then taken to different restaurants. Well, you know, when we talk about grouper, it's just delicious, right? There's the multiple styles of grouper. Warsaws, which are the big, massive groupers, to like yellow edge, which is what we see a lot of here. Yellow edge grouper might be one of my favorites. It's just a delicious fish. More textural than snapper or flounder, more firm than the others, but awesome. This is when, with the Cajun chef or the crystal hot sauce, this you can tell the texture of the sauce is different. And this is just a little bit thicker, but not as much vinegar base. Delicious. Makes potatoes good. Now, this was one of those things that I wanted to try because it's just like the shrimp plate. You can get them broiled, you can get them blackened, you can get them coconut, you can get them fried, like however. Comes with rice and green beans, a little lemon, and I just love a coconut shrimp. There's just something about that that makes me happy. Knowing that, again, can't talk about this enough. Gulf shrimp. Gotta ask for it. In our area, you should expect that, right? But it doesn't always happen. We just need to get everybody on board with this. Gulf shrimp are the best shrimp. If we don't support it, we lose it. Golly, that's fantastic. That's perfect, girl. Yeah, you're right here on 28th and the seawall, getting to look at the waters. You know, on certain days, you can see the shrimp boats just kind of trolling out there. Awesome. But You know, to talk about Katie's, Boulevard Seafood and Steaks, knowing that these places are supporting the local economy, the local shrimpers, the local fishermen. It's what you expect when you come to Galveston. So when you're down here, look for these things. Ask for them. Anywhere in the Houston area, actually. We should all be more conscious about what we're doing.
All right, what to order at Boulevard Seafood? The shrimp cocktail's delicious. The crab stuffed shrimp bites. The gumbo, shrimp, crab, andouille, very well executed. Then the Boulevard Wild Texas Shrimp Platter. You can kind of pick what you want. I'm going coconut shrimp all day. And then the snapper, the grouper. Pick the way you want it done, and then pick your sides. It's so good.
All right. The gumbo was that good. The coconut shrimp, I love coconut shrimp, so that was perfect. The grouper, blackened, awesome. Like, that's what I want. I want Gulf seafood out of these waters when I come down here. Pretty fantastic. Let's go get a taco. All right, so we're in Galveston, Fish Taco Company, right off, close to the seawall, right off the 23rd. I keep hearing about this place, right? That's the thing. It's like local fish, local shrimp being sourced here, right from these waters, homemade tortillas. Apparently there's a chicken wing we need to try out. And then this kind of crispy taco, it's a play on a fast food taco. You know, the one that's stuffed with shredded lettuce and American cheese and then fried. This was just done with local Gulf shrimp. So pretty excited about this. Small, seems like a locals only thing. Let's make it busy. I feel like I need to do the Vietnamese flavor too.
So the wings, what were the other two that you wanted?
The Captain Johnny.
Two Captain Johnny's, gotcha. And a Korean spray, yeah, it's got like a gochujang based sauce. Did you want fish or shrimp on?
Let's do fish.
Gotcha.
And then Empire?
Empire's all, it's my favorite taco.
All right, then you pick what that is.
Absolutely.
What else did I try?
As far as the sides go, the Brussels sprouts are awesome. They're flash fried and tossed with an apple chili gastrique.
Good up. A lime and the coconut.
Absolutely.
This is really unique. This is fun. So this is a chopped shrimp taco that is, I believe, if I look into here, yeah, so it's got lettuce and it's got iceberg, it's got iceberg lettuce and it's got American cheese. And this is, in essence, like the drive-through Jack in the Box taco, just redone with local shrimp. Awesome. Yeah, that's good. Way better than the drive-through thing. It's the fish that's so good about this, the sauce and everything, but the homemade flour tortilla, it's so light and airy and really perfect for this taco specifically. The local fish, the sauces, the homemade tortilla, it's a sum of all the parts that brings it to a different level of happiness and deliciousness. Yeah, that's just perfect. Like, that's a very good taco. And they're getting their shrimp and they're getting all their fish from Katie's Seafood here. So the fish today said was snapper. So this is done Korean style. This is done more of a Chinese style. So gochujang, sesame. That looks good. That flour tortilla is nice too. Now I see why people were talking about this. That's delicious. And then he said this was his favorite. Super clean on the fish, very fresh, very nice. Not a thick coating of batter. The sauce is fantastic. And then little flash fried Brussels sprouts with a little pepper jelly and apple gastrique, which is kind of a unique little flavor combination, but it's a good way to get you to eat your Brussels sprouts. Oh, it's so good. So good. And then, so before 6 o'clock, they have the chicken wings, little Vietnamese style chicken wings, so like caramelized fish sauce chicken wing, which is, as we know, one of my favorites. Sauce super nice, reduced down perfectly, not too funky, not too sweet, just that right balance of what I want out of like a fish sauce chicken wing. Perfect. There was a restaurant in Portland that was very well known that did a fish sauce chicken wing called Pok Pok. It reminds me of the Pok Pok chicken wing, which is a huge compliment. If you're ever down here, just need a quick taco, some curly fries, Jack in the Box style, or something, you know, that's got the local fish, that's using the local product, that's picking it up on a daily basis from down the street. That's awesome. You can feel good about this fish taco company, huh? And this is just fun, and that's just delicious, and that's just good. Fantastic little stop. Hidden gems you didn't know about, or you did.
All right, what to order at Fish Company Taco? Get the Captain Johnny Shrimp Taco. It's kind of a play on the fast food taco, where it's got the crispy lettuce and the tomato, and then it's fried. The whole thing is fried, which is awesome. And then it comes with the order of curly fries. Get the Empire, the Hunan-style barbecue sauce with the green onion and cilantro, and then the one with Vietnamese flavors, as it says. So with carrot, knock mam, onion, cilantro, mint, Thai basil, delicious. Get a side of the Brussels sprouts with the apple gastrique, and definitely, absolutely, definitely get the chicken wings if you can.
Fish Taco Company, awesome, right? It's everything that I wanted it to be. That flour tortilla was so good, knowing that they're just making it, pressing it, cooking it back there. But then also just so light on the crust of the fish tacos, and the red snapper coming from Katie's, that's awesome. Like, just this symbiotic relationship of what happens on the island. You got to search it out, but it's there, right? The stuff that's in these waters can be put into a taco or wherever you want. So you just got to find it. It's really cool.
Where to get Gulf Seafood in Houston? Fin and Feathers, Brennan's of Houston, Blue Horizon, and then Airline Seafood. Go down the list. If there's American red snapper or Gulf grouper on that menu, it's more than likely coming out of our waters.
All right, so that's a wrap on season 2. What did we do this season? Man, we went to farms. We went and discovered things about our Gulf Coast waters, about the shrimping and fishing industry. We went and talked to local legends like Johnny Caraba. We explored the Pakistani community. We did all sorts of stuff. Remember Ziggy? Man, just sitting at Kitty and Ziggy's with Ziggy Gruber was one of the highlights of my life. So when we asked the question, what's next? Right? Season 3. Till then, love this city. Stop. It literally is under the... Now it's under.
Insane. Hit us up on Instagram, Eat Like a Local TX. Tell us where you're at. Tell us what your local is. That's what we want to know. We want to come see that too. Support our industry. Let's do it together, all right? Eat Like a Local TX.